Hello there. Thank you for visiting iFilm Recap. Today I'm going to explain a movie, Wrath of the Titans. 10 years after defeating Hades' Kraken, Perseus, the demigod son of Zeus, presently lives as a fisherman with his young son Helios, after the death of his wife Io. One night, Perseus is visited by Zeus, who tells him that the powers of the gods are fading, and the walls of the underworld prison of Tartarus are breaking. Due to the lack of devotion from humans and states, they will need the world's armies to combat the potential threat. Perseus, valuing his family's safety, refuses to get involved. That night, he dreams of Kronos attacking and killing a group of armies in the battlefield. Afterwards, Zeus travels to Tartarus to meet with his brothers Hades and Poseidon, and his son Ares. He tells Hades they must forget the past and unite to rebuild Tartarus's walls, but Hades orders his minions to attack Zeus. Poseidon is fatally injured in the ensuing fight, and Ares betrays Zeus over showing Perseus more affection, taking him prisoner and stealing his thunderbolt. Hades and Ares plan to drain Zeus' power to revive Kronos, the father of Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, in exchange for the two to remain immortal. The walls of Tartarus break, unleashing monsters into the world. There is a falling from the sky and transformed into a monster, a two-headed chimera, and attacking their village. After Perseus killing the monster, Perseus takes Helios to the Mount of Idols, to meet his father, Zeus, but the dying Poseidon arrives instead. He informs Perseus that Hades and Ares are holding Zeus in Tartarus, and tells him to meet with his demigod son Agner to find the fallen god Hephaestus, who knows the way into Tartarus. Poseidon then gives Perseus his trident before succumbing to his injuries and crumbling into dust. Perseus rides on his Pegasus and flies to the campsite of Queen Andromeda's army. Andromeda has imprisoned Agner for stealing crown jewels, but Perseus has him released. Perseus, Andromeda, Agner, and a group of armies set out into the sea to find Hephaestus, with Agner explaining that Hephaestus created the three powerful weapons that Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon wield: Zeus' thunderbolt, Hades' pitchfork, and Poseidon's trident, which can jointly form the spear of Trium, the only weapon that can defeat Kronos. Agner uses Poseidon's trident to direct the boat to Hephaestus's island, where they encounter 330 feet Cyclops who attack them. When Perseus shows them the trident, they lead the group to Hephaestus, the smith god, stripped of much of his godly power after siding with Hades after he betrayed the Olympians 10 years prior. He explains that he has a map to navigate the path into Tartarus. He leads them to the entrance into the labyrinth, where they are attacked by Ares after Carina prays to him. Ares kills most of the soldiers as well as Carina, while Hephaestus opens the gate, before he sacrifices himself, so that Perseus, Andromeda, and Agner can enter the gate before it closes. Agner tries to use the map to direct them, but the labyrinth continually shifts and at one point nearly crushes them. Perseus encounters the Minotaur that attacks him, but Perseus manages to kill it. Eventually, the group enters Tartarus. Meanwhile, Zeus has been almost entirely drained of his power as Kronos starts to awaken. Zeus apologizes to Hades for banishing him to the underworld and asks his forgiveness, as he has forgiven Hades for his actions. Hades has a change of heart and finally decides to help Zeus and stop Kronos, but Ares intervenes. Perseus arrives and uses the trident to free Zeus. As they are escaping, Ares throws Hades's pitchfork into Zeus's back. Perseus, Andromeda, Agner and Hades carry a weakened Zeus down to the base of the mountain where Andromeda's army is gathered. Perseus combines the trident and Hades' pitchfork, but he still needs Zeus's thunderbolt, which Ares still has, to complete the spear. Perseus challenges Ares to a fight at the Temple of Gods, which Ares accepts. At the temple, Perseus finds out Ares has kidnapped Helios, who was brought to watch Perseus die. Ares easily overpowers Perseus, but he is distracted when Helios tries to challenge him by pointing a sword at him, giving Perseus the opportunity to defeat him. Perseus then destroys Ares with Zeus's thunderbolt and combines the gods' weapons into the spear of Trium. Meanwhile, Andromeda's army is overwhelmed by Kronos' army of Machae, but Hades arrives to revive Zeus, and together they use what power they have left to defeat the army, who have murdered most of Andromeda's men. Kronos then appears and begins to attack them, from which Zeus and Hades defend them, and at the same time are giving Perseus the opportunity to fly right down Kronos' throat. Kronos lets out one last blast, and Zeus takes the brunt of the force to protect Hades. Perseus throws the spear of Trium into Kronos' stomach, destroying it by traveling to his heart and throwing the spear into it. Perseus meets with Zeus and Hades. Zeus commends Perseus for his courage, stating that the time of the gods is over before turning to dust. Hades is now mortal, though he states he might be better off as such before walking away. Perseus reunites with Andromeda and kisses her. Knowing that there are still titans to battle, Helios tells his father that he wants to return to his life as a fisherman, but Perseus tells him they cannot. Perseus encourages Helios to be proud of himself, as he is the son of Perseus and the grandson of Zeus. Perseus decides to train Helios to be a soldier. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more movie recaps.